why didn't you stay in IT? Where was your next stop from there?
So, they had a security breach. We were being cyber attacked. So the company was basically about to dissolve. It was really bad, actually. They were holding our practices hostage for Bitcoins. It made pretty big news in the dental space.
Hey, I want you to share your story, but it's okay if you just say I accidentally ended up in the dental industry, because everybody accidentally ends up here. Once you're in the dental industry, it doesn't let you leave. Like, you can try if you want, but you always end up back in the dental industry. You have too much knowledge, too much unique knowledge that just has to be applied to the dental industry. Holy smokes. You bought 170 practices right before COVID?
Yeah. So I was like, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to my team. It's so nice. 15 people, like, handshake. And literally 2 days later, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to, riff you.
Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Theory. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more new patients so you can grow the way that you want. And today I have somebody from marketing. I love talking about marketing. Lori, who is the VP of marketing for Peak Dental, and she has managed hundreds of dental offices and helped them grow through their marketing. And you're going to want to hear what it's like inside the DSO world of marketing, and how she built her career and how she ended up where she's at today, and also what it's like working at a remote DSO where they don't have a home office. Everybody works from home. So you're not going to want to miss this. This is a really good episode and gives you a peek behind the curtain. Stay tuned. All right, Lori, I am excited to have this conversation with you. I've been on several podcasts and have been interacting with you a lot lately. And I'm really excited for the audience to hear your story, because you're in a unique seat at a unique organization. And I want you to kind of share how you got into the dental industry.
So it's an interesting story. I out of college, I started a business. It was wildly successful. We owned it for 12 years, sold it, and made a little bit of money. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to live in Florida anymore. I want to live someplace there's seasons. So I picked up and moved to Colorado. And I didn't need a job at the time. We just sold the company.
What kind of business? What kind of business was it?
You're gonna laugh. So it was like an industrial painting for oil and gas lines and traffic signals, but we figured out a way to do it environmentally friendly, and then we ended up selling the technology.
That's so smart. You know what? It's the most boringest industries.
So boring.
And yeah, so boring, but they're the most successful, because it's like everybody wants to do the next SaaS product or the next big thing. You know what I mean? But most people don't want to focus on how to paint trucks or how to paint lines on the road and do it well and do it environmentally friendly. So that's so cool that you sold that and got out. So you were in a pretty comfortable position at that point? Like, you didn't really need to work if you didn't want to? Is that
I was
what happened?
like, I want to go someplace new, and I want to find something that I love, like an industry that I love. So I really kind of leaned on LinkedIn a good amount. Well, when I first moved out here, I did a ton of traveling. And then I came across a dental IT company. They needed someone to do marketing and business development. And I was like, I don't know anything about dentistry except that I don't usually like going to the dentist, but I'll give it a go. And I went to the interview, and honestly, I just really liked the team. It was a really small operation, but I thought I could grow with the company. And that's how I got in.
Okay. So you went from painting to IT, but it was marketing.
Yeah, I'm a really exciting person.
How'd you make the jump to marketing? Like, why marketing into IT and dental? Like, why not operations?
I have my degree in marketing. So, and and while I did run my own company, all the marketing pieces were done by me. It's something I have a passion for. It's something I understand.
Hey, I got a secret for you. Dental marketing agencies are dead. You got that right. Dental marketing agencies aren't performing the way that they used to, because there's so much more complications to growing a dental office than just getting a marketing company. At SMC, we are passionate about being a growth partner and helping your practices grow the way that you want. And we have a free newsletter that goes out every single month at dentalmarketingdigest.com. If you sign up, it's free. And there's over 1,000 practices that are already getting these free tips. You don't want to miss out. Sign up now. Links below. Got it. Okay. So you had more of a marketing background, more of a marketing mindset when you built your business. Then you were like, hey, I'll do marketing for somebody. Why not IT and dental? And then what happened after that? Like, why didn't you stay in IT? Where was your next stop from there?
So, they had a breach, right? They had the security breach where everything, we were being like cyber attacked. So the company was basically about to dissolve. And at that time, it was really bad, actually. Like they were holding our practices hostage for Bitcoins and things like that. It made pretty big news in the dental space. Um,
Wow.
and so I had been talking to ASI Dental. They were lurking for a marketing director, and they make endodontic delivery systems here locally in Colorado. They're pretty. It's a pretty niche thing, but they're very popular with endodontists. So I was excited to do something that was American made. I could learn more about the dental industry, and that was where I went after IT.
Okay, so you go over there, and then how? Like, what was your main role there? So was it marketing?
Yeah, director of marketing. I basically had like a staff of like two. It was very small, right? But we did a ton of like conferences and events, and we even had an in-house TV studio. So I kind of came up with an idea for us to do lunch and
Mm,
learns virtually with these endodontic systems, so that we wouldn't have to travel around with them, which was like the main
smart.
cost of doing these things. So I developed a whole program where we did like lunch and learns, and it really changed their line of business. They still do it to this.
That is so cool. Yeah, I remember when dental implants first came out, you couldn't really market them because no one knew what they were. So you couldn't just put up an ad that said dental implants, right? Because people wouldn't click on it. And the demographic of people who were buying implants at that time weren't huge digital users. They weren't using social media. Maybe they were just getting onto Facebook a little bit. So it was really hard to market. So back then, everybody would do these lunch and learns where you'd go in, hey, we'll give you a lunch and we'll explain what dental implants are and we'll kind of educate you. And that's how kind of the dental implant marketing world developed. So you even took it a step further and said, hey, we're going to do it virtually. How did you get people to like watch it virtually?
So I used one like my marketing assistant essentially would reach out. Hey, we would like to do a lunch and learn. We're going to send you lunch so you can do it. Here's our Zoom link. We
Uh,
do it live in studio. It was myself and a provider, and we would walk through how the different like pieces of the endodontic delivery system, think ways that you could utilize it, ways you can like get rid of clutter. I mean, it was like an hour long TV set. Like it was like being on a TV show actually. And we did 2 or 3 of those a day, and we were talking to 10 to 30 doctors at a time. So you have to think like, it really did change their business and save them a ton of money.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so and that's the part I missed. You were reaching out to the doctors, getting them to watch because at the same time, you were the doctors themselves were also reaching out to patients and doing these like learn
Right.
lunch and learn things as well. So that's fascinating. Okay, so then you built that up. What was your next stepping stone after
So
that?
again, LinkedIn. I love me some LinkedIn. A recruiter from Mid Atlantic reached out to me, and it actually said perfect teeth, and I made a face, and I was like, "Oh, it's a Medicaid DSO." When I'd always heard that DSOs were like a bad word, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I look them up on Glassdoor, and these reviews are, I mean, atrocious. But I was like, "All right, I want to see what it's like." So I went to the interview, met with their CEO at the time and their COO, and just kind of fell in love with the people and the culture. And yeah, that's how I got into DSOs.
Yeah, it's funny. I was told because I used to work with probably when we started, we had like 50 practices we worked with, but they were all single location. And all of them and all the people they worked with, so all of their consultants, everybody said DSOs are the straight devil. Do not
Right.
talk to them, do not work with them. And I was just like, oh, okay, it must be like really bad. These must be like the worst people in the world. But then I started meeting some people in the DSO space and they weren't that bad. And then a lot of my single location clients started turning into groups. Now, a lot of
Right.
them didn't call themselves DSOs because they wanted to recruit. But I thought that was so fascinating that, like, literally underneath my nose, as they were all telling me, no, this is the worst thing in the world, a lot of them are turning into groups. And in essence, DSOs, they just didn't call themselves that. So I was with you. I was like, man, why do people hate this so much? And the basic thing that I learned was there's really, really good DSOs that do a great job. They take care of their team. They take care of their patients. And there's really bad DSOs that don't take care of their teams and don't take care of their patients. And there's really good single doctor locations with one owner doctor that do great work, take care of their team, do take care of their patients. And then there's horrible single
It's so true.
doctors that do horrible work and don't take care of their team. And it's just kind of like, that it's just like everything else. There's good and bad in both sides.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, honestly, I'm so glad I made the leap. Like, I love what I do. I love the DSO space. So many interesting people. And once you get into dental, you never leave. So,
Mm-hmm. That's the other rule. So we were just talking beforehand. So I told Lori, because I had to tell everybody this, hey, I want you to share your story, but it's okay if you just say I accidentally ended up in the dental industry, because everybody accidentally ends up here. I'm here by accident. Lori's here by accident. So is everybody else I talk to who's not a doctor. And then, but the second rule is, once you're in the dental industry, it doesn't let you leave. Like, you can try if you want, but you always end up back in the dental industry.
You're not going anywhere.
You have too much knowledge, too much unique knowledge that just has to be applied to the dental industry. So now you're in the DSO space. Tell me a little bit about that journey of like developing that and building that out and kind of going down that road.
Sure. When I started with Mid-Atlantic, they had 17 offices, and they were just getting ready to buy Perfect Teeth. And that was going to be our only branded footprint. We bought 94 Perfect Teeth, so on top of the 17. And the 17 were all unbranded. They were meant to look in the Northeast, meant to look like standalone mom and pop shops. Like, patients never knew that they were owned by a DSO. And then we bought Perfect Teeth, and I was so excited to have 94 more. We're growing. Literally 3 months later, we bought Dental One, which was 170 more locations, which is quite a roller coaster ride, especially for somebody who's new to the DSO space. So it was really a lot of like, buckle in and just figure it out. Like, you just got to figure it out. And then COVID hit, right? So we bought all these offices.
You bought 170 practices right before COVID?
Yeah. So I was like, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to my team. It's so nice. 15 people, like, handshake. And literally 2 days later, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to, riff you.
And did you stay on? So you stayed on with the company though?
The whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just me and one other.
So you're managing 300, 400 locations, basically just you and maybe someone helping you. Like, walk me through what that was like during COVID, and especially around this big treatment, because, I work with a bunch of GP offices as well as like the specialty offices, but the specialty just, like, the GP at least could do emergencies and stuff like that and do root canals and fillings if they needed to, right? But the specialty offices, I can't even imagine what you were going through during that time.
So we kept Mid-Atlantic kept their specialty offices open, and we had emergent care, right, items. But for our oral surgeon and our oral surgeons, they did treatment as long as it was an emergency, right? So we kept them running, and we did a lot of teledentistry, which I still can't wrap my head around. I don't understand. Like, I get it. Like, if you have if your teeth are not straight, like, I could see how a teledentistry appointment would be like, oh, you need braces. But I don't understand how you can, like, give, like, treatment, plans on people's teeth. Like, I can't, whatever. We did it. I can't wrap my head around it,
Yeah. So people were still coming in and spending money during that time?
I mean,
or
it was pennies.
Yeah.
It was pennies on the dollar. Right? I mean, it was like going from, I think we were at that time, it was like close to 10 million a day in revenue. And it was at like 200,000 a day. I mean, it was bad.
It was bad.
Bad news.
Yeah. That's what happened to us too. Yeah. We lost 75% of our revenue for an extended period of time, just because every client we had stopped, right? They're like, we're going to go sit at our house and wait this out. And then,
we had to fire all of our vendors too. We had to, like, literally be like, we can't pay you. I'm so sorry. Like, it was awful.
Yeah, it was tough. But we made it out. And so now what happened after COVID? Where did you end up? Where did you land after that?
So we weren't buying any more practices after COVID. I mean, we did a couple, maybe like a onesie, twosie there, but I believe, 2022, Western Dental bought us. And we were under the impression that we were going to be bringing on more private equity funding. Like, we didn't really know what was happening. And I remember it, like, vividly. It was a Friday morning. The senior leadership team got a phone call, all of us. And it was like, hey, we've been sold. Let your teams know it's being announced in 15 minutes. We don't know what it means. We were like, oh.
So they sold, but you didn't know what their game plan was.
We had no idea. The Western team was they were gracious to us. They flew us out, let us know that they would need us, right? I think at that time they had 800 offices, 700 offices.
Yeah,
So
they're big
they
on the West
needed,
Coast.
they're huge. They needed the help, right? And they extended the olive branch to all of us, to like the senior leadership team at least, to stay in place. But I kind of just opted to go do my own thing. I wanted to take a little break, travel a little bit over the summer, and then regroup and see where I wanted to land. I was in the unique situation with finding Peak. Actually, I guess it kind of like sucked, like kind of we found each other, right? Because they're in Colorado and Texas. I have a little girl and it's less traveling. I was traveling like crazy with Mid-Atlantic. So this, it was the right fit at the right time. But I actually ran into AJ at Dykema, and that's how I got my job.
Awesome. So. Yeah, I think I ran into him at the same Dykema event because I was talking to him before you came on. So it was like that was all happening like all at the same time. And then so walk through now. So you now basically are work from home for them, and then what's your like official title and like what you do for Peak?
VP of marketing. I run all of the marketing, tactics, channels, budgeting. I work very tightly with the CEO. He's very involved. He's a hands-on CEO, which I love. He's very analytics driven because of his consulting background. I've never seen so many spreadsheets in my life, but it's a good tool to have in my toolbox.
Yeah. Okay. So VP and then VP of marketing or growth, you said? Marketing. Okay, cool. I always just call you the marketing goat. Right. So I never can remember your title. So then you are, and then you're virtual right now, right? So you don't actually meet physically at a DSO or anything like that usually, right?
I go into the offices sometimes for content or just to like introduce myself here and there, bring treats. But no, I'm mostly like at home, which Peak was like that way before COVID. They never have had a home office. So it's really unique. I kind of love it, right? You get the autonomy, but we all also do lots of phone calls and Zoom. So we still feel like we're part of a team.
Yeah, that's huge. I think from a DSO standpoint, I understand why people want to meet in office, but I've always thought like, man, if I was going to run a DSO, I'd want to do it virtually because it just saves so much energy and so much time, and you can meet virtually. What and so I'm 100% with this, but I will ask you this: what are some of the downsides of meeting being remote from your perspective?
I mean, I miss being around people. I'm super social, and the routine of getting up and getting dressed and looking super nice to go into an office. While it is a pain, it also gets you prepped for the day, get your head in the right space, and like rolling out of bed and throwing on a hoodie. It's not exactly the same like morning like pump up. So I've had to adjust the way I roll out of bed.
Yeah, and you know what? You can control those things too, but you have to be very disciplined to control them, right? So you have to be like, I'm waking up at this time, I'm going to work out, I'm actually going to do my hair, I'm actually going to pick my outfit the night before. And sometimes you just don't have the motivation to do that when you're working remotely. But I've built out. We're remote, so we have a decent sized team, and we're all scattered all over the United States. So it's something that I've played with for many years. The one thing, the downside I would say is collaboration is harder. So one thing that I miss about being in office, and I love working from home. So I'm big pro work from home.
Oh, me too.
But one thing that I miss is like, so if we work in an office together and my desk is next to yours, your office is next to mine, and I have like a quick question for you, all I have to do is just poke my head in and go, hey, Lori, what do you think about this? Would you go with green or black on this? And you're like, black, cool. Thanks, Lori. That's what I thought. I was going to go that direction, but I just wanted, or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. That's so easy to do in office, and you just lose that. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about Slack or what about Discord and all these?
Use Slack,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. Slack is cool. The problem is that what ends up happening, and this is kind of the downside, I would love your thoughts on this from my perspective, is I'm in meetings all day and then Slacks are coming in. So I'm trying to be focused in my meetings, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job and being present in my meetings. But then I have these questions coming in. So I think I get more done by being remote, but I also have more opportunity for distractions and a little bit less collaboration. In office, you have a lot more collaboration, but the distractions go through the roof where people are popping in and out all day. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Mid Atlantic. We worked out of an office, right? I had an office in almost every city we were in. So, but there was a lot of drama around that. Oh, so and so got a raise, and I didn't get a raise, and there was tears, and I don't love any of that. And honestly, working remote, there's zero drama.
If you have, I always tell people, if you are causing drama in a remote company, you are extremely toxic because you can't, people aren't, hooking up with each other, and things aren't happening at this person said this or that, like that disappears from a remote company.
Right. And like I said, there's no tears. It's night and day difference. Maybe Mid Atlantic was just super dramatic, but it was a lot. It was like being in a sorority house.
Yeah, no, you're 100% spot on. I remember working in office and just constantly being in meetings, solving people's drama problems that were just had nothing to do with work. And it was regularly. It was like every couple times a week. And we weren't even that big of a team at the time. But a lot of that evaporates when you work remotely. That's awesome. Well, Lori, this has been really, really cool. I thank you for just coming on and sharing. I think the dental industry really lacks transparency into a lot of this stuff. And I think the biggest thing that it lacks is like, everybody always talks really good. Like, I'm the VP of marketing and everything's great. And it's like, okay, cool. But what about the rest of it? What about the stuff that isn't working? Or how could you make this better? Or and so I really appreciate you coming on and just sharing this side of the dental industry that most people just frankly don't know about.
Right. No, I'm very transparent. I always tell people I'm an open book, maybe too open. But no, I think you learn more from failure than you do from success. And anyone that says that something's perfect, obviously isn't looking closely enough. So,
Yeah, 100%. I love learning from you. I love all your journey. Love what you're doing there at Peak. And I love interacting with you. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story.
Thank you, Gary. Always a pleasure.